Welcome to Movie Speeching. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take good care. Big Brother is the name of the movie. Like and subscribe, it is very valuable. Thank you for your support. After serving, Henry has returned to Hong Kong. Had a long career in the U.S. military. He returns to his previous school in an attempt to launch a teaching career. Tak Chi second level. The headmaster admits that he lacks teaching expertise, but he gets hired after being presented with a letter of reference from a higher authority. Before Henry is told by the principal that the class he is supposed to teach is the worst one before he departs for their school. When Henry enters the classroom on his first day of school, he notices that complete disarray. While some pupils snooze, some are playing electronic games, while others are singing, whereas a significant portion of them are using a portable stove to prepare ramen. Even when the instructor enters, he is entirely disregarded as they carry on with their work. Henry attempts to reach them. They pretend not to hear him yet pay him attention. He quits up attempting to grab their interest in them and comments on what they are already doing as she moves around the classroom. Ramen has too much salt, therefore the students who are cooking are advised to consume less of it. Then Henry approaches Zufa, who was playing the ukulele, and assists him. Similarly, he cautions a young player about the radiation exposure that may result from spending all day looking at a screen. He writes his name down and introduces himself as the pupils begin to pay attention, as well as a phone number on the board. His terrible penmanship makes the pupils chuckle. Then, Henry laughs at a request to leave the class from one of the pupils who calls him. Once more, children ignore him and carry on with whatever they were doing before he arrived. Henry finally has enough and activates the fire sprinkler with a rubber band and chalk. The pupils hastily dispersed so they wouldn't get soaked. Once he has their whole attention, he formally welcomes them to his class. 5 of the lowest scoring pupils congregate in the sports equipment room after class to light up. The group's leader Jack has a crush on an A-grade student in a different class. When the others see him gazing at her photo, they make fun of him. The two groups are competitors. The affluent and privileged basketball players at the school. They walk inside the storage area and continue to make fun of Jack's poverty. Later, Jack and the basketball team are working out. From close by, the gang observes them. As a result of Jack's bottle spill on the court, the team captain to drop. Miss Leon, the English instructor at the school, orders detention despite the group's laughter. She is busy cleaning her desk when they pull a trick on her and flee to escape imprisonment. The principal of another school is upset because the education board intends to take deductions from 20% of their funding for the year. Visitors from the board arrive to tour the institution to examine the usage of the monies. While doing so, Henry walks inside the classroom where the pupils had prepared a bucket of water as a practical joke on him. However, he is able to shove the falling pail aside because to his quick reactions. The classmates who were planning to tease him are astonished. Henry requests, knowing that Jack smokes. "I gave him a packet of cigarettes." Jack merely hands the pack to him. "I'm interested in what he's about to do." Henry then asks Zufa to list the names of the 3 components that our cigarettes contain. He gets the day off from class if he provides the right response to the inquiry. Everyone starts banging on their desks, pleading for permission to miss class as well. He gives each of them a cigarette and instructs them to examine it once they quit. Henry is aware that if you only discuss how it affects their health, people won't take you seriously. In its place, he informs them of the effects of smoking cigarettes and describes the formation of tar in the lungs. They truly pay attention to the teacher and show an interest in learning for the first time. The pupils grudgingly accept when he asks them to return the smokes after the bell sounds. The basketball team's leader makes a friend of Jack that day in the cafeteria. Bruce sprains his knee. This starts a fight between the factions, which quickly escalates, becomes violent. They wreck the premises by hurling food and tables at each other. Later, Henry learns that 5 of his classmates have been placed on indefinite suspension for initiating the conflict. Henry intervenes when he sees Jack battling someone in the corridor. When told to calm down, Jack claims that the school is unfair since the wealthy students get no penalty. Henry examines each of the 5 pupils' files that day after school to inquire about them further. Zufa, the first man, is the son of a Pakistani immigrant and always subjected to racial discrimination. The cops frequently accuse him of stealing. In the vicinity of him, the only thing Zufa ever wanted in life was to be a musician. A is the second student. Dinan is a female. Since the moment of her birth, she had disappointed her father because he had always desired a son. Dinan has spent her entire life attempting to earn her father's respect. She also shortened her hair to play the part of a guy while playing with vehicles. Yet, while treating her little brother like a prince, her father doesn't care about her. Then there are the Bruce and Chris brothers. When they were young, their mother fled with a man. Only children who made their father an alcoholic. The brothers had only one another to rely on as they mature. To avoid reality, Bruce grew hooked with computer games, while Chris toiled away to support the family by working long hours in a grocery shop. Finally, Henry is unable to locate any information on Jack's family history. In the scene that follows, in this scene, Jack is a server at a restaurant. Jianying, an MMA bettor, enters the eatery. With his co-workers in business, Jack grabs Jianying's nice lighter when she isn't looking, but catches you. He examines Jack's ID while Jianying's guys beat him up. Upon learning that he is a student, he gives him some cash and suggests hiring him to deliver their meals. Henry goes to Zufa's house somewhere else and discovers him fleeing from his father and is after swiping a ticket, friends. He first assists him, but after learning why he takes the father's side when he is being pursued. He then arrives with Zufa to hang out at the bridge. Henry performs with a band in order to inspire Zufa to do anything he wants. In public spaces, Zufa joins him shortly after and begins singing in front of people for the first time, following years of school bullying. Meanwhile, Chris's and Bruce's father returns home. He requests a beer from the grocer since he is running late as usual. Upon the brothers' rejection, he shouts at them to leave his home. The following day, Henry sees their father and persuades him to, for the benefit of his boys, he should enter rehab. While waiting, Dinan's father delivers that he hands her a bag of cosmetics and tells her to act like a girl for a change. He has consistently incensed Dinan, making her believe that she is unworthy. She dresses her little brother in cosmetics and uses the vehicle key to covertly leave the residence. She's preparing to leave in her father's vehicle, but is at the proper time halted by Henry. He informs her that operating a vehicle without a license is unlawful and offers a substitute. The next step is they visit a track for go-kart racing. Then, Henry invites her dad and has them compete. The father and daughter are brutal to one another during and finally finish outside the racecourse. Suddenly, a car strikes Dinan's go-kart, but she is able to avoid it. Her father, who is unaware of this, sobs in sorrow at his daughter's passing. Dinan hugs him after realizing that he does love her. The following day at school, Chris and Bruce, sent to a treatment facility with a group to speak with an alcoholic in recovery. The fact that their father will be the subject of the interview surprises them. The pupils ask him about his drinking history. The man responds that despite how much he loved his wife, she left him at his life's lowest point. As a result, he began to drink and lost sight of his 2 children. A concern. The father apologizes to Bruce and Chris without revealing that they are his sons. By the end, the brothers are in tears. Jack has begun to work for someone else elsewhere. Jianying, an MMA bettor. He offers Jack a significant sum of money to inject fighters' drinks during the next match. Even if Jack is hesitant, he must accept the offer. Jianying sponsors the match the day of the contest. A combatant who wagers on his defeat. Jack attempts to drug the fighter's beverage but gets caught doing it. He gets beaten up and put in a locker before he can accuse Jianying. After a time, Henry shows in and asks the combatants if they have seen his pupil. The guys beg Jack to go back home, but Jack cries for assistance from within the locker. Upon discovering, Henry tackles them and easily defeats them once he realizes he is being imprisoned. When the combatants step up, it becomes a little stressful, but Henry successfully avoids their blows. By its conclusion, the best fighter for them, who was scheduled to participate in a few minutes, is knocked out by him. After that, they are at the medical facility where Henry is receiving treatment for his injuries. When Jack tries to confront Jianying with the facts, he is told to be quiet. News of the event reaches Henry begins to appear on television and get notoriety after beating up a professional boxer. Rescue his pupil, he said. The pupils start to appreciate him as his popularity among them develops. In contrast to how they were previously, they even get up to welcome him to the class. In the past demonstrates to us Henry's past as a schoolyard trickster. In addition, he hurled water balloons. at a pupil who was performing on the piano for the parents. Later, he clashed with the same pupil and his hand fractured. He had to take a flight to the States after his suspension for the fight. Beginning that day, the pupils concentrate while Henry teaches in class and put in a lot of effort to prepare for the impending entrance exam for college. Everyone is doing well, except Bruce has developed an addiction to tablets. Chris, it turns out, used video games to distract himself from his family's issue. Bruce began abusing drugs. He does poorly in the mock exam because he lacks attention. Admissions exam. Henry offers to assist Bruce, but as time passes, Bruce's depression worsens. Eventually, he scales their home's balcony and leaps. He enters a coma after being taken to the hospital in a hurry. The news is misrepresented by the media, who attribute Bruce's actions on Henry and the school. The education board authorities decide to cancel Henry's teaching license after interviewing him. The kids pursue him when he leaves the school with his belongings, pleading with him to stay. His disappearance has left them devastated, yet they are aware that they must succeed in their approaching exams. Test to impress him. They intensify their research efforts after that to demonstrate to the board that Henry is a capable educator. Jack receives a text message with his peers on the day of the exam. Henry requesting that they meet in the school an hour prior to the test. When the pupils congregate, they learn that Jinying's ruse to keep them imprisoned in the school was just that, so they won't get at the exam site in time. He's doing this to make a point to Henry. Later, Henry shows up to school and learns about Jinying's scheme. He permits the pupils, defeats every member of Jinying's entourage to keep them from hurting the kids. While Henry battles Jinying, they make their way to the exam room swiftly. Jinying explains that he was the person Henry had while they were battling one-on-one. Water balloons when he was a little child. In light of the fact that Henry shattered his arm, he was unable to participate in a significant music contest. Since the occurrence, he hasn't played the piano at all, and he accuses Henry of crushing his dream. Henry attempts to persuade, but is once more assaulted. They battle for control of a knife. Finally, Henry receives a chase after him but fails to murder him. He begs pardon for what he did when he was younger, and moves on. The students arrive at the testing location on time and finish the exam. Fast forward a few weeks, and they all succeed with flying colors. Jinying begins to perform the piano once again, although he still has to practice a lot to reach his previous level of proficiency. Bruce becomes better swiftly and vows to take the admission exam the following year. The head of school is also happy when the board decides to provide them a 20% bonus money as a result of what their kids did really well on the admission exam. Henry does the fire sprinkling technique when he starts teaching again, on a different group of kids. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.